Hey, this is Adam with Techdive, and we're going to talk about the best way to make your internet more reliable. If you haven't already done this, you need to change your DNS server from something besides your ISPs. So, what I mean by that is the way the internet works is you don't just type in names like google.com and get to where you're going. It actually has to look up that in a domain name system, and that's a DNS. And so DNS servers will provide the IP address that you need to access the web server you're looking for, the website you're looking for, similar to a phone book. If you look up someone's name in a phone book and then you call that number next to the name, you get that person. The same's true with the website. You need to type in the web name and then it gives you the number from the DNS, and then that is how you access the website. All of that's done in the background, but you can actually access you can access things via the internet, via port 80, if you know what that means. If you don't worry about it. You don't always need a browser and domain names to access the internet. So the reason why this is important is I, for a while, had an internet that was extremely unreliable. It went down all the time. And as I started working as a computer technician, one day I was like, is the internet really down? And I pinged a server, something like 8.8.8.8. And so what pinging is it simply just says, hey, are you there? And then it says yes, and it times that reply. So this time I got 4 replies from Google's domain name server. Sorry, it's a domain naming system server, just DNS. So Google 4 times told me, and it took 32 milliseconds, 26 milliseconds, 24 milliseconds, 25 milliseconds to respond that it was in fact there. That's just a basic check to see if a server is live and if your internet's working, because it has to use the internet to do this. So the internet is working when you get replies. So the interesting thing is when you get replies to an IP address that you're accessing offsite. So to be extra clear. So the reason I say this is if your internet's going out, you need to try pinging something like 8.8.8.8. It's just ping space 8.8.8.8. You don't have to be a computer technician to type that into a command prompt and hit enter, and then it'll very quickly tell you, is it a DNS problem? And the answer very likely is yes. And the reason why is your ISP, your internet service provider, doesn't necessarily have the best DNS. And that's the one your router uses by default. So if you want to check on your router, for me, I got to type in 192.168.1.1. And that's going to log me into my router. Now, this is how I can change router settings. Yours will look a little different. You might have to type in a different number here. Look it up in your router settings. A lot of times it's on the back of your router. This is not your modem, but your router. Because your router will control what domain name system that you're accessing. So what you want to do is it's usually in a more advanced setting, and it's going to be something called like internet setup, something like that. And you'll know you found it when you see something that says domain name server DNS address. So when you find that, then you want to make sure that it does not say get automatically from ISP, because your ISP is a very unreliable DNS server. But 2 reliable ones are 8.8.8.8, which is Google, and then 1.1.1.1 is OpenDNS. There are actually quite a few. You can look up different public DNSs, but that's a public DNS. Google has a public DNS. There are so many. And then there's ones like 8.8.4.4 is another public DNS. But you want to type in 2 and maybe 2 from 2 different places. But it'll access this one first and that one second. So this one, top one, it'll access Google's DNS first for me, and then it'll access the public DNS second. So you can even see which one's faster. If you ping 1.1.1.1, you can see it usually takes it a little over 30 milliseconds, and if you ping 8.8.8.8, this may be different for you. I'm saying you should check this out. If you ping 8.8.8.8, I get 25, 24, 24, and 24. It's typically a little bit faster of a response, so that's my first DNS server. And these servers don't crash very often. They're handled by very good people who make reliable DNS servers. So I really recommend that you find somebody with a reliable one, because your ISP is likely not reliable and not very fast, and that will help your internet be faster and more reliable. It's not a miracle pill like a lot of people say it is, but it will definitely add some changes. Make sure you hit apply. A lot of routers require some sort of apply and save kind of thing. So do that once you've made your changes, and then very quickly you should start seeing a better response from your browsers. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Adam with Techdive. We do lots of tech reviews and tech videos where we dive in deeper things about computers and tech reviews. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.